Marlo Thomas, the legendary actress and humanitarian, remains one of the most iconic figures in American television and philanthropy. As she turns 87, her vibrant presence continues to astonish fans and admirers alike. From her unforgettable portrayal of Anne Marie in That Girl, Ma Pusti, to her decades-long commitment to children's health at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, Marlo Thomas has remained a pillar of elegance, intelligence, and compassion. Yet today, as new images surface of her at public events, interviews, and charity functions, it's not just her accomplishments that have people talking, it's her seemingly ageless appearance that leaves many doing a double take. Born on November 21, 1937 in Detroit, Michigan, and raised in Beverly Hills, Marlo Thomas grew up under the spotlight, being the daughter of renowned entertainer Danny Thomas. Her upbringing in a showbiz household shaped her future in significant ways, providing her a first-hand view of the entertainment industry's glamour and pressure. From a young age, Marlo was determined to carve out her own identity, not merely as Danny Thomas's daughter, but as an actress, producer, and advocate in her own right. Her breakout moment came in the late 1960s when she starred in That Girl, a groundbreaking television show that was among the first to feature an independent, single woman living on her own in New York City. At a time when women on television were often portrayed as housewives or secondary characters, Marlo's portrayal of Anne Marie was a cultural revelation. She wasn't just acting, she was changing the way society perceived women and their roles. The show ran for 5 successful seasons and became a launching pad for Marlo's lifelong career, even after. That Girl ended, Marlo Thomas didn't slow down. Instead, she diversified her career with a variety of projects. She made appearances in films, took on stage roles, and made her presence felt on television dramas and comedies alike. In 1972, she spearheaded and appeared in Free to Be You and Me, a landmark children's project that promoted individuality, gender neutrality, and acceptance. The initiative included a book, album, and Emmy-winning TV special. It was innovative and ahead of its time, showcasing Marlo's passion not just for entertainment, but for messaging that shaped young minds and questioned societal norms. However, it is perhaps her humanitarian work that has truly defined the latter decades of her life. As the National Outreach Director for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, a facility founded by her father, Marlo has carried forward his legacy with dedication and vigor. She has raised hundreds of millions of dollars, tirelessly advocating for children battling cancer and other life-threatening illnesses. Through countless telethons, galas, campaigns, and public service announcements, she's remained a consistent and powerful voice for the most vulnerable. Her work earned her the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2014, a well-deserved recognition of her life's service. Despite all these achievements, public interest often gravitates toward the most surface-level element, her appearance. At 87 years, old Marlo Thomas defies every stereotypical notion of aging. Recent photographs show her with radiant skin, a bright smile, and an unmistakable aura of youth and confidence. Whether she's attending a charity event, sitting for an interview, or walking a red carpet, she looks decades younger than her age might suggest. This has naturally stirred discussions and speculation across social media and tabloid headlines. Some attribute her youthful appearance to disciplined self-care, healthy eating, regular exercise, and a skincare routine honed over decades. Others speculate that she may have undergone cosmetic procedures, though Marlo herself has remained largely private on the matter. What is undeniable is her poise. She carries herself with the elegance of a seasoned professional who has spent her life in the public eye, always mindful of how she presents herself but never appearing vain or superficial. Observers often note that Marlo's appearance isn't just about aesthetics, it's about vitality. She maintains a full schedule, balancing her philanthropic commitments, media appearances, and personal life with apparent ease. Her voice is still full of enthusiasm, and her demeanor is that of someone who finds joy and purpose in everything she does. When she speaks, she commands attention, not just because of her fame, but because of the clarity and conviction in her words. Marlo Thomas's marriage to television host and media personality Phil Donahue has also played a prominent role in her story. Married since 1980, the couple has become a symbol of lasting love in Hollywood, a rarity in an industry often marked by short-lived romances. Their relationship, built on mutual respect and shared values, has inspired many. In their co-authored book, What Makes a Marriage? Last, they interviewed other longtime couples exploring the challenges and triumphs of enduring love. The book is a testament to their own journey and the wisdom they've gathered over more than 4 decades together. In a society that often sidelines aging women, Marlo Thomas stands as a powerful counterexample. She hasn't just aged gracefully, she's aged boldly. She has embraced every stage of her life without retreating into irrelevance, continuing to push boundaries and make meaningful contributions. While many actresses of her era have faded from the limelight, Marlo remains visible and vocal, using her platform to promote causes she believes in and to uplift others. Moreover, her legacy continues through new generations. Young actors and activists look to Marlo Thomas not just as a star of a bygone era, but as a mentor figure, someone who used her influence for the greater good. Her groundbreaking work on That Girl has been cited by numerous modern creators as inspiration for more recent shows centered on independent female protagonists. In many ways, Marlo Thomas paved the way for characters like Carrie Bradshaw, Liz Lemon, and Mindy Lahiri. She planted the seeds that have grown into a more diverse and inclusive media landscape. Despite all this, the fascination with her present-day appearance persists. A recent gala in New York featured Marlo Thomas as the keynote speaker. Dressed in a sleek, floor-length gown, she moved with confidence and delivered an impassioned address on the importance of continued support for pediatric cancer research. Cameras flashed, fans applauded, and social media buzzed not just about what she said, but how stunning she looked while saying it. "She doesn't age," one user posted. "Is she drinking from the fountain of youth?" asked another. But Marlo's secret isn't magic, it's mindset. In interviews, she often speaks about the importance of staying mentally active, embracing new challenges, and surrounding oneself with love and laughter. She attributes much of her positivity to her family, her work with St. Jude, and the joy of continuously learning. She has said that purpose is the greatest anti-aging remedy, and she lives that belief every day. Whether she's authoring a new book, mentoring young women, or raising awareness for an important cause, she remains engaged, focused, and passionate. Of course, fame has its challenges. Being in the public eye for over 6 decades means Marlo has faced her share of criticism, particularly in the age of social media. From unkind remarks about her looks to baseless gossip about her personal life, she has seen it all. Yet she handles it with grace, rarely responding to negativity and always steering the conversation back to what truly matters, making a difference. In recent years, Marlo has also embraced digital media, understanding its power to reach a broader audience. She's appeared in web interviews, participated in virtual charity events, and connected with fans through social platforms. Even in an era dominated by influencers and viral content, Marlo Thomas's voice remains authentic and relevant. She has adapted without compromising who she is, a testament to her resilience and awareness. Her influence has extended into education as well. Colleges and universities have invited her to speak to students, particularly young women navigating the early stages of their careers. Her speeches often emphasize the importance of passion, perseverance, and empathy. She encourages young people to use their platforms for good, to lift others up, and to stay true to their values even when the spotlight dims. When we look at Marlo Thomas at 87, we are reminded of a life lived with intention. She didn't coast on fame, she built on it. She used her recognition not just for personal gain, but to open doors, challenge stereotypes, and fund critical research that saves lives. She has become much more than an actress or a celebrity. She is a symbol of what it means to evolve, to lead, and to care deeply about the world around you. It's no surprise, then, that reactions to her current appearance are filled with awe. People aren't just surprised by how youthful she looks, they're inspired. Marlo Thomas represents the idea that aging doesn't have to mean slowing down or fading away. Instead, it can mean growing stronger, becoming more vocal, and finding new ways to make an impact. Her story serves as a powerful reminder that beauty isn't just skin deep. It's found in courage, conviction, and compassion. So when you see Marlo Thomas today, standing tall, smiling brightly, and speaking with unwavering energy, it's more than just a visual revelation. It's the embodiment of a life filled with purpose. Yes, you might gasp when you see her, but not just because of how she looks. You'll gasp because of all that she still is. An actress, a pioneer, a philanthropist, a legend, and most importantly, a woman who has never stopped. Shining. Her radiance is not confined to physical beauty or elegance. It extends far beyond that. Marlo Thomas radiates a kind of inner light that comes only from a lifetime of meaningful pursuits, of standing firm in one's values, and of dedicating oneself to a cause larger than fame or personal success. When she steps into a room, there's an undeniable presence about her. People notice, they listen, and they feel the depth of her legacy echoing in everything she says and does. This isn't merely the allure of celebrity, it's the reverberation of decades of purposeful living, of choosing relevance through action rather than through image. Even in the twilight years of her life, she has not opted to retreat quietly into retirement or let her legacy rest on past accolades. Instead, Marlo continues to show up energetically, passionately, and full of purpose. Whether it's standing behind a podium at a children's hospital fundraiser, seated across from a journalist discussing women's rights, or mentoring a younger generation of actors and activists, she embodies a tireless commitment to forward momentum. Her vitality isn't an illusion. It's the authentic result of never stopping, never giving up, and never turning away from her mission to better the world. In a world increasingly obsessed with youth and outward appearances, Marlo Thomas offers a powerful alternative narrative. She shows that there is tremendous beauty in experience, in wisdom hard-earned through decades of work, challenges, love, and advocacy. There's something deeply striking about a woman who owns every chapter of her life, who refuses to apologize for aging, and instead embraces it as a badge of honor. And in doing so, she shifts the paradigm. She invites us to reconsider what it means to be forever young, suggesting that it's not about how few lines one has on their face, but how open one's heart remains to joy, learning, and purpose. Marlo's ability to resonate with such a wide audience spanning generations is part of what makes her so extraordinary. Younger people see in her someone who not only once revolutionized the television landscape, but who still stands as a voice of relevance, inclusivity, and compassion. Older generations see a contemporary who has never stopped evolving, someone who understands what it means to navigate changing times without losing one's essence. And those in between admire her unwavering sense of identity, her strength, and her refusal to allow age to define or diminish her. What makes Marlo's presence so impactful is also her authenticity. There's no pretense in her demeanor. She isn't trying to be something she's not. She's just being fully, unapologetically herself. That genuine spirit draws people in. It makes them feel connected. Her laughter is warm and real, her conversations laced with both wit and insight. And when she speaks about children suffering from cancer, or about the societal pressures placed on women, or about the importance of equity in education, she does so not from a script, but from the deep well of a woman who has lived through decades of advocacy and reflection. Her style, too, tells a story. Gracefully modern yet timeless, Marlo dresses not to appear younger, but to express joy, individuality, and dignity. She wears bright colors, elegant cuts, and striking accessories, not to impress, but to communicate confidence and spirit. She walks with purpose, moves with assurance, and embraces her individuality in every visible way. It's not about fighting age, it's about celebrating selfhood at every stage. In doing so, she liberates others to feel proud of who they are right now without feeling the need to conform to rigid standards. Behind that glowing exterior is a reservoir of strength that many may not fully comprehend. The emotional labor of a life lived so publicly, the personal sacrifices that come with championing major causes, the effort to remain active and effective into her late 80s, these are no small feats. They require resilience, self-discipline, and a passion that cannot be faked. They require, above all else, a belief that one's work is never done. And that's what Marlo Thomas believes, that as long as she is able, she will continue to speak, to support, to act, and to lead. There's a reason why the phrase, "try not to gasp when you see her today," rings so true. Yes, there is the immediate, almost reflexive awe at her graceful appearance. But what follows, what lingers, is something much deeper. It's the realization that we are looking at someone who has lived her truth so boldly, so compassionately, and so completely, that the glow we see isn't just skin deep. It's the light of a fully lived life, a life that continues to reach out to others, to touch hearts, to challenge norms, and to build a more humane world. In a time when so much of public life can feel cynical or performative, Marlo Thomas remains refreshingly real. She isn't performing a role, she's being a force for progress, for kindness, for integrity. That is why she remains beloved. That is why when people catch a glimpse of her today, at 87 years old, full of fire and grace, they feel something stir within themselves. It's not envy, it's admiration. It's the sense that maybe they too can age with pride, that maybe aging isn't about decline at all, but about deepening into our truest selves. So yes, you might gasp when you see her, but hold that gasp a moment longer. Look past the flawless hair, the sparkling eyes, the effortless smile. See the decades of work behind that moment. See the hours in hospitals, the nights spent writing, the rehearsals, the interviews, the endless hours of service. See the courage it takes to continue showing up again and again in a world that often wants to push women aside once they're past a certain age. Marlo Thomas stands as a living rebuke to all those expectations. She defies them not by pretending to be younger, but by redefining what it means to be older. She shows us that life doesn't end at 60 or 70 or even 80, it deepens, it expands. And if you choose, it can still burn brightly with purpose and beauty. At 87, she is not an echo of her former self. She is an evolution, one that we are lucky to witness and even luckier to learn from.